Will you please join me in the pledge to the Bible?
Will you please join me in the pledge to the flag?
Thank you. You may be seated. I want to welcome everyone to Grammar Chapel. It is our continuing chapel as we celebrate our speech meet, the art of rhetoric, being able to speak persuasively. So we are thankful for that. We have a lot going on in grammar. First grade's hatching baby chicks, grammar basketball starting, so we've got a lot of really great things going on. Some announcements. Tonight is a Chick-fil-A night. If you like Chick-fil-A, I didn't grow up with Chick-fil-A, so I still don't quite get the whole chicken vibe. But if you're into Chick-fil-A, on Staples McCardle, if you go after 5 o'clock and say you're part of Annapolis, some of the portion of that goes back to our athletic department, as our basketball teams will be traveling for regional and hopefully state tournaments the next 2 weeks. Speaking of speech meet, our regional meet will be hosted here on March 5th. It's the South Texas Regional Meet, so several private schools in the area have their own speech meet, and all their qualifiers come together for the South Texas meet. We do need some volunteers. I think maybe some information's been provided through class group me's, so if you would like to be a judge, or we need room monitors, just helping kids get from point A to point B. It's a wonderful meet, but it does take quite a few volunteers to make it happen. I've got 2 nominees for Heart of the Warrior. The first one is for Quinn Brown. Is Quinn stand up? Oh, she's sick? Okay. Well, hopefully she's watching. She was nominated by a classmate of hers, Knox. And Knox wrote, "Quinn is always kind to others and she never complains." So Quinn, thank you for showing a heart of a warrior. The next one is Marisol. I know she's not here because she's manning the front desk, but the entire kindergarten class is nominating her for Heart of the Warrior. And this is what they wrote. Kindergarten would like to nominate Marisol Montez for having a heart of a warrior. Last week, one of us, we won't say who, dropped our water bottle on the way downstairs from music class in the admin building. This was no ordinary water bottle drop. It was dropped down a window ledge, rolled under an enclosed stairwell. When we asked for help, Mrs. Montez took it upon herself to crawl under the stairwell in little crawl space with lots of friends in there, bugs, dirt, and spiders, to get the water bottle, and she did it with a smile and lots of courage. So Mrs. Montez, when you see her, thank her for having a heart of a warrior. We really have invested staff that are willing to go way above and beyond, even crawling with spiders and bugs for our kids, so it really makes the school special. So please stand with me. As we have been talking through the last few weeks of chapel, the importance of words and why we celebrate words and why we are so precise with them, whether it's the spelling bee or speech meet, words have great power, and so we want to use them for the glory of the Lord. So the first verse from Luke 6:45 talks about good words come from a good heart, and so I'll say a line, repeat after me. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good. And an evil man out of the evil treasures of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks. So there's a connection between the words that come out and the type of heart that you have. Good words come from a good heart, but words that tear down and are evil come from a heart that is not right before the Lord. Our second reading is a reminder from Galatians chapter 5 of the fruit of the Spirit. When we talk about a good heart, a heart that's been redeemed, changed by the Spirit, there are obvious fruit that come from it. So repeat after me. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. Our first song is Wonderful Words of Life.
Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and duty. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Christ the Blessed One gives to all wonderful words of life. Sinnerless to the loving call, wonderful words of life. All so freely given, wooing us to heaven. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Sweetly echo the gospel call, wonderful words of life. Offer pardon and peace to all, wonderful words of life. Jesus, only Savior, sanctify forever. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life.
Will you please join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever.
May be seated. At this time, we will be dismissing preschool. While they're dismissing, it gives us a chance to practice some of our sound offs. We've been, with the week being the week of Valentine's, we had a sound off about love. So, greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for friends. Let's try it again. That he laid down his life for his friends. Greater love has no one than this, that he laid down his life for his friends. We've also been studying ants in morning time, and they are showing us the importance of hard work and excellence. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways. All right, we don't want to be a sluggard. And then the ant works hard without a coach. We are continuing our celebration of Speech Meet, where we'll recognize the qualifiers and runner-ups in 5th grade. So when I call your name, please join me on stage. Since there are 2 teachers, we are able to send 2 qualifiers to the regional meet, so we'll have 2 runner-ups and 2 qualifiers if there were that many that were competing in that category. So in Bible memory, our runner-up, there is actually a tie. Emily Lara and Darian Wallace, and then Macklin Larson. Our 2 qualifiers in Bible memory are Parker Gabbro and Leighton Pepper. Congratulations. In poetry, our 2 runners-up, they actually tied as well, Ellie Vega and Nina Lopez. And then our 2 qualifiers are Honor Hansen and Silas Harms. Congratulations. In dramatic interpretation, our runner-up is Sterling Carter, and our 2 qualifiers are J. Garza and Liam Kasarik. Congratulations. To move this way, Darren. Slide over. In patriotic recitation, there were no runners-up, so our 2 qualifiers were Siggy Saldivar and Aubrey Forg. Congratulations. Darren, why don't you everyone scoot down here a little bit so we can squeeze in. Parents, you're welcome at this time to come forward and take a picture. Why don't you squeeze in so Aubrey can get on stage? At this time, I'll dismiss the runners-up, and qualifiers stay up here, please. Our first one is actually not going to be a 5th grader. We're going to call Arden Klein up here. She's doing a poetry, so come on up, Arden. She was sick last week, so Arden Klein. So Arden, you're going to be our first one up at the mic. She is doing a poetry, she's doing poetry called The Wind. Will you go over here, Arden, right here?
The Wind by E. Rindall. Why does the wind so want to be here in my little room with me? He's all the world to blow about, but just because I keep him out. He cannot be a moment still, but frets upon my windowsill, and sometimes brings a noisy rain to help him batter at the pane. He rattles at the lock, and lifts the latch and stirs the key, and waits a moment breathlessly, then soon more fiercely than before, he shakes my little trembling door. Although, come in, I say, he neither comes nor goes away. Barefoot across the chilly floor, I run and open wide the door. He rushes in and back again. He goes to batter door and pane. Pleased to have blown my candle out, he's all the world to blow about. Why does the wind so want to be here in my little room with me?
First up in Bible memory, Parker Gabbro.
Psalm
Psalms 33, 1 through 12, New King James Version. Rejoice in the Lord, O you righteous, for praise from the upright is beautiful. Praise the Lord with the harp. Make melody to him with an instrument of 10 strings. Sing to him a new song. Play skillfully with a shout of joy. For the word of the Lord is right, and all of his work is done in truth. He loves righteousness and justice. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. And by the word of the Lord the heavens were made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathers the waters of the seas as a heap. He lays down the deep in storehouses. The Lord brings counsel to the nations of nothing. He makes the plans of people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance.
Next up in Bible memory, Leighton Pepper.
Psalm 96, New King James Version. Oh, sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the earth. Sing to the Lord, bless his name. Proclaim the good news of his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the nations, his wonders among all people. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the people are idols. But the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give to the Lord, O families of the people. Give to the Lord glory and strength. Give to the Lord the glory due his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. O worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. The world also is firmly established. It shall not be moved. He shall judge the peoples righteously. Let the heavens rejoice and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar in all its fullness. Let the field be joyful in all that is in it. Then all the trees of the woods will rejoice before the Lord. For he is coming to judge the earth. He will judge the world with righteousness and the peoples with his truth. This verse means to me that God deserves all praise and worship. We should put no earthly thing in front of God.
He'll be at full strength by speech meet without the cast off, so that'll be good. First up in poetry, Honor Hansen.
Grandpapa's Spectacles, author unknown. Grandpapa's spectacles cannot be found. He has searched all the rooms, high and low, round and round. Now he calls the young ones, and what does he say? 10 cents for the child who will find them today. Then Henry, Nellie, and Edward all ran, and a most thorough hunt for the glasses began. And dear little Nell, in her generous way, said, I'll look for them, Grandpa, without any pay. All through the big Bible she searches with care that lies on the table by Grandpa's chair. They feel in his pockets, they peep in his hat. They pull out the sofa, they shake out the mat. Then, down on all fours, like two good-natured bears, go Henry and Ed under tables and chairs. To quite out of breath, Ed is heard to declare he believes those glasses are not anywhere. But Nellie, who leaning on Grandpa's knee, was thinking most earnestly where they could be, looked suddenly up in the kind faded eyes, and her shining brown ones grew big with surprise. She clapped both her hands, all her dimples came out. She turned to the boys with a bright, roguish shout. May leave off your looking, both Henry and Ned, for there are the glasses on Grandpa's head.
A little quick backstory on Honor. He has been trying for 2 years to qualify. He has worked his little behind off and made the most of his moment, so really well done, Honor. Looks like Silas is sick today, so in dramatic interpretation, Jay Marie Garza.
The Forgiving Prince from Genesis 37 through 46, the Jesus Storybook Bible. Jacob had 12 sons, but out of all his sons, Joseph was his favorite. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a splendid new robe. It was beautiful and rich, with all the colors of the rainbow. But that made Joseph's brothers jealous. They wanted rich rainbow robes too. And to make matters worse, Joseph kept on having these special dreams. I dreamt I was the greatest. I was king, Joseph told his brothers, and you all bowed down to me. Now I'm sure you know, even if Joseph didn't, that telling your brothers things like that isn't a very good idea. Joseph's brothers hated him even more. They wanted to kill Joseph and his dreams. And one day, that's exactly what they tried to do. They tore Joseph's rainbow robe off of him and sold him to slave traders for 20 pieces of silver. The traders took Joseph to Egypt and made him into a slave. The brothers went home and lied to their father, telling him that Joseph was dead. That's the end of that dreamer, they thought. But they were wrong. God had a magnificent plan for Joseph's life. And even when it looked like everything had gone wrong, God would use it all to help make his plan a reality. God would use everything that was happening to do something good. Now, meanwhile, in Egypt, things weren't looking good for Joseph in Egypt. He was far from home and from his dad. Then he got blamed for something he didn't do. And even though he had done nothing wrong, he was punished and thrown in jail. But God was with Joseph. One night, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, had a scary dream about thin cows gobbling up fat cows. What on earth did it mean? He didn't know. But luckily, Joseph was a dream expert, so Pharaoh called for him. It means a famine is coming, Joseph explained. There won't be enough food. The Pharaoh was so pleased with Joseph's skill that he immediately took Joseph out of jail and made him into a prince. Now back home, Joseph's brothers had run out of food, and everyone was hungry. God's special family was in danger. If they didn't get food soon, they would surely starve to death. So Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt to buy food. They came and knelt before the new prince. The brothers did not know that the prince was Joseph, but Joseph knew who they were. Joseph's dream, the one about his brothers bowing down to him, was coming true. It's me, Joseph cried. When the brothers saw that it was Joseph, they were afraid. They had wronged Joseph. They had sinned, and they knew it. And now, Joseph would certainly punish them. But Joseph looked at his brothers with his eyes filled with tears. Even though his brothers had hurt him, hated him, and wanted him dead, in spite of everything, he couldn't stop loving them. He threw his arms around them. Don't be afraid, he said. Even though you have hurt me and hated me, in spite of everything, I still love you. Joseph didn't punish them. He rescued them. He brought God's special family to live safely with him in Egypt. And one good day, God would send another prince, a young prince, whose heart would break. And like Joseph, he would have to leave his home and his father. His brothers would hate him and want him dead. He would be sold for pieces of silver. He would be punished, even though he had done nothing wrong. But God would use everything that was happening to this young prince, even the bad things, to do something good, to forgive the sins of the whole world.
Well done, Jay. Patriotic recitation, Siggy Saldivar.
Inaugural address of John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was the 35th President of the United States. He delivered his inaugural address on January 20th, 1961. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered the call to service surround the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of men, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. Can we forge against these enemies a grand and global alliance, north and south, east and west, that can assure a more fruitful life for all mankind? Were you to join in that historic effort? In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America would do for you, but what together we could do for the freedom of men. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history, the final judge of our deeds. Let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.
Last up in patriotic recitation, Aubrey Forg.
Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, by Pocketbooks of New York. Anne was a Jewish girl who, with her family, hid from the Nazi authorities in German-occupied Holland during World War II. Wednesday, 13th January 1943. Dear Kitty, everything has upset me again this morning, so I wasn't able to finish a single thing properly. It is terrible outside. Day and night, more of those poor, miserable people are being dragged off with nothing but a rucksack and a little money. On the way, they are deprived even of those possessions. Families are torn apart, the men, women, and children all being separated. Children coming home from school find their parents have disappeared. Women return from shopping to find their homes shut up and their families gone. The Dutch people are anxious too. Their sons are being sent to Germany. Everyone is afraid. And every night, hundreds of planes fly over Holland and go to German towns where the earth is plowed up by their bombs. And every hour, thousands and thousands of people are killed in Russia and Africa. No one is able to keep out of it. The whole globe is waging war. And although it is better for the Allies, the end is not yet in sight. And as for us, we are fortunate. Yes, we are luckier than millions of people. It is quiet and safe here, and we are, so to speak, living on capital. We are even so selfish as to talk about after the war, brighten up at the thought of a pair of new clothes or new shoes, whereas we really ought to save up every penny to help other people and save what is left from the wreckage after the war. The children here run about in thin blouses and clogs. No coat, no hat, no stockings, and no one helps them. Yes, it has even gotten so bad here in Holland that countless children stop the passerbys for even a piece of bread. I could go on for hours about all the suffering the war has caused, but then I would only make myself feel more dejected. There is nothing we can do but wait calmly till all the suffering comes to an end, till all the misery comes to an end. Jews and Christians wait, the whole earth waits, and there are many who wait for death. Yours, Anne.
Aubrey proudly represented the grammar school in the spelling bee. It went 18 rounds, and then her and an 8th grader battled for another 10 rounds. She ended up being a runner-up, and she did fantastic. So, well done, Aubrey. Please stand as we sing O for a Thousand Tongues. As we are reminded from our first Bible reading from Luke, out of the abundance of our heart, the mouth speaks. So Psalm 19 is a reminder. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. You are dismissed.